Welcome to Machine Actor.
Hey guys, this is As and Says. We're coming at you live from two continents, and we're brought together by one question. What does it mean to be human in the dawn of AI? This is season 1, Fallback. 4 conversations about becoming more human in the age of AI. Across this series, we'll explore fear, friend, friction, and future. Not as experts with all the answers, but as two people trying to make sense of one of the biggest technological shifts in our lifetime. So wherever you're listening from, thanks for joining us. And it says, let's begin.
Welcome just to Machine Actor, Manchester to Mexico. Circuitry in the soul. Initialize the vision.
This is Machine Actor. This is our podcast. This is As and Says from 2 different parts of the world, 2 continents, just having 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, a dozen conversations about how we become more human in the dawn of this weird time that is AI. So we've decided, me and you, that we need to put our voice out there and create a season of podcasts, right? So season 1, we're calling it Fallback, and we have 4 episodes. Fear, friend, friction, and future. That's how we've decided to put our voice out there. I'm Az, yours says, welcome to our podcast.
Well, everyone, welcome to Machine Actor. As my really good co-star is here talking, we want to bring some light to the topic of AI from 4 different perspectives over this 4-episode season. The first one is fear. And there's a lot of approaches that we can say fear. Our family has fear of AI. Our co-workers has fear of AI. On our experience, we have been working with AI, I don't know, as like 4 years, like for really deep in AI, or?
I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's like AI is such a big term right now, right? I've always felt like we've worked more with technology, and AI is just like the next iteration of that. But yeah, I mean, definitely for the last year, 100%. 2 years maybe. I think 4 years might be pushing it. I mean, were you an early adopter? 4 years ago, I can't remember what I was doing. I can't remember where I was working. I think I'd just come back to work with you.
I need to tell you what I was doing 4 years ago and why I knew about this new tool called GPT. My girlfriend used to work in a marketing agency. They were testing around how to build blog posting faster. Their CEO looked at tools available out there, and he found something called GPT from a X company who no one knows called OpenAI.
Yeah.
And they were testing model number 2 to create articles, and it hallucinated a lot. But this guy starts seeing the future a little bit. So that's the first time that I heard about the generative AI thing. What is that? What is that? Can you give us a brief technical, non-technical introduction of what is that thing called AI right now?
Well, I mean, I will try my best. Personally, I still don't have a clue how it works. I mean, it still feels like magic to me every time I use it. I do know that behind the scenes, it's taking input, it's tokenizing and contextualizing the input based on information that it's been trained on in its models, and it's transforming that to basically work out what the next best output should be. So if you say to an AI something like, the cat is black, and then it then wants to contextualize that as there's a object here, which is a cat, and a description of the object, which is black. So now you say to it, is the cat black? And it's going to look at what it knows and what it's been trained on and figure out, well, I need to pay attention to the most important words and ideas that you've given me, inclusive of what I already understand based on my current context, and I will decide what to put out to you. I've already been told that the cat is black. Therefore, the cat is not red, the cat is not green, the cat is not white. Very likely the cat is black, so I'll tell that back to you. Now, if it comes back and says the cat's grey, or it's a shade of black, then is it still true? Is that still correct? Has it hallucinated? All it's doing is doing some very, very clever matching behind the scenes.
Let me give you my take on that. I used to work around nuclear physics when I was a young student on my getting my engineer degree. One of the things that amazed me the most of the work was this approach between, if you do this, you are going to get always the same result. That's a deterministic approach where you are going to, doing things around, and you know that always, or almost always, you are going to be. So if the cat is black, well, it's not going to change tomorrow, right? That's the way it burns, and that's the way that it's
Yep.
always going to be. But with AI, the thing is different. It's like, and that was the part that I love about nuclear physics. You need to do things on a probabilistic approach. So you need to stop thinking about 1+1 is 2. You need to start thinking about all the probabilities that could happen, and that's basically what, for me, is AI. It's a new way of seeing the world based on everything that we as humanity has said before this point, digitalized and having this big data set of information. And now there's a probability of us saying the things on a certain way. And that's for me what is AI. It's just
Yeah.
a machine telling you, a machine actor telling you, this is the way that I assume it's going to be based on all these things that you as humanity say in the past.
Which is historical context, and that's what gives me fear. That's what
Yeah.
makes me scared. I wrote about this actually. Is you think about it, we go back hundreds, thousands of years, right? We've got content that was written on hieroglyphics, literally painted on a cave. Like these are like the first known items of content that were put into permanence. You then have religious text that was written, scientific text. An apple fell on somebody's head and somebody thought that was important enough to write about. So like all of this was written, but it was written by people who had the privilege to write and had something to say because they wanted to talk about it. And what that means is they had bias in the way that they wrote. And we've always been biased in what we put down on paper because we have a voice or something to say. Even if it's subjective information, it's still written subjectively. And that's what worries me, is because we basically trained AI on all this data and content. And content and data is coming every day. It's like a new world record of how much content and data is being created daily.
Yeah.
Yesterday was less than today. Tomorrow will be more than today. But every time it's creating bias in the machine, it's creating bias in the content model. And that's what I'm scared of, is it's been trained on everything that's good about humanity, but also everything that's bad about humanity in the way that we operate as people and as communities.
Yeah, if the input comes wrong and comes in the wrong way, because there are some actors out there creating hallucinations on purpose, which means the content that has been created could be, we went from hundreds of articles, maybe from just one single person, to thousands, because now they have AI building things for them, putting ideas, special ideas on the content. So that way, AI, what it's doing is guessing for the best. So if you put awful content out there, it's going to hallucinate. That's one thing that I have heard from too. But let me tell you about the first time that I really fear like this thing is going to change everything forever. I do remember that one of my inspirations when I was a youngster for studying mechatronics was seeing Iron Man, the first movie with Robert Downey Jr. Amazing movie. I love it. I have seen it like 20 times now. Yeah. That part when he went from the cave, he was a caveman. He went to the lab, start interacting with this Jarvis thing, which was an AI. That's the first time that I was afraid of, was when I was able to replicate that, of course, on a small proportion, here at Com, playing around with cloud code, and just building what I know to build best, product management, and putting out there the stories around how to build a digital product, giving those to an AI, and then having back the product on my hands. And it was a real use case where I can click on things and see the output. And all of that happens using minutes, if not hours. For me, it was like, oh my gosh, this is going to change everything forever. New businesses are going
So
to, yeah,
yeah, it's basically what you're saying is like the fact that you were able to iterate so quickly using AI to create a product or a prototype or something that's working. That's what scared you. Is actually I can do the work of many hours of previously
yeah.
valuable time in token minutes, effectively.
I don't know what's the first time that you have that experience. You can tell us a little bit about it, but to closing my idea was like, this scared me because now in work, if people know about it, things that I used to deliver on weeks, they are going to know that I can deliver on days. So the
Yeah.
pace that I'm working currently is going to be really fast for the future. But
Yeah.
are they
So you basically touched on two incredible fear points there, actually. Number one
yeah,
is your work output is the same because you're still delivering value to the peers within your organization, but
yeah,
the expectations they have on you is more, or perhaps they're expecting more from you continuously now, and that is always going to increase over time. So, really speaking, you're just setting yourself up to fail here, mate, because you're going to have to keep working harder and harder and harder to reach their expectations.
yeah.
But there's something more sinister in what you said then, which is you were able to see something iterate so quickly that it almost gave you a desire or appreciation for something, almost like what something like alcohol or sugar would give you. Is you got that instant gratification from seeing something get built so quickly, and you were like, I need to do that again, and I need to see that output again. And then what happens now, mate? You're gonna open a second tab, you're gonna create something else in that tab. And then all of a sudden you're working on 20 agents in 20 different apps, all using AI all at the same time. And is it actually gonna be enough to satiate you?
Okay, that's an amazing one. Actually, that gave me some relationship issues over 1 week because when I have the gratification of building that fast, just week number one, day number one, I was not able to stop. What does that mean? Yes, I'm afraid of all the consequences of me doing things fast, but at the same time, I get this small addiction of what if I told this AI to do this now, and then this idea, and then this new idea. But it was just
Yeah.
raw knowledge put out there without validation, without feedback, without me being a egomaniac, say I'm right on everything. So let's follow all my ideas. That's the absolute source of truth. So that's one of the things that I'm scared of. Are we creating humans that are going to be saying that they possess the absolute truth? So the products that we're going to have out there are the vision of just one single person thinking that that's the best. Is that happening actually with AI, with
Oh,
real
I
food that
don't
I'm
know,
consuming?
man. I don't know.
It's like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen from there because, yeah,
What's interesting, mate, is so you're a professor as well.
yes.
As a second job, moonlighting profession, I don't know what you want
Mhm.
to call it. you
Yeah,
you basically have the hands of the future of humanity in
yeah.
your classroom, right? So, what are these people doing with their hands now that AI is basically going to do it for them?
Let me tell you about that one. The reason why I started teaching, and this started like a long time ago, I even in my high school, I teach math to all my other colleagues. That's when I saw the value of it. We work on the technology environment, and I have a reply question to you about how you get updated how you diminish the number of fears that you have on a daily basis. But basically, it's like this: I figure out if I'm working on tech, I need to have input from different persons and perspectives. And one way of getting that input is, of course, go out there, do some networking, have a chat like the one that we're having right now, or I can have different perspective from 30% at the same time. If I give them some knowledge, they are going to give me knowledge back. So
Yeah.
an insight that I can give you from external students, it was first, hey, professor, this thing that I'm doing right now is going to be worth it to learn because it's really a game changer, or and I reply back, hey, the resistance that you have right now is because you haven't been introduced to a new tech this fast, and you are not used to just grab something, test it, and see if it's worth it. That's why you are here. This is a classroom. We can test it, and you can come back and tell me the value. That's issue number one. Issue number two, the school itself. I have a conversation with these two, let's say, representatives of education, high school, a really big high school here in Mexico City. And the other one was on a small startup, and they have the same fear. Well, the future of all the academic is going to change moving forward. Yes. So, do we need to provide tools to the students? Do we need to provide a best way of having critical thinking around it? On this big university, they told me, well, what we're doing is paying a study of what the future is going to be. And I told him, hey, say just very quickly to me the list of people that you're interviewing, so that way I can see what you're doing. And they start saying to me, yeah, we're going with this doctor, with this person, with this another academic. And I told him, well, stop. You are not asking to the right people that question. The future is not happening in your home, and it's not happening in the university. Right now, the owners of AI is the private sector, and you need to go with the guys building things around because they have all the knowledge. So, closing that topic about getting feedback from the students and the teaching experience, it looks like we need to find a way to ask to the right people. Like in this podcast, you are going to get a lot of insight from it. So, tell me about it. What's your perspective on what's going on out there? It's like, it's hard for people. Is people reaching to you to have less fear around AI?
So when we talk about fear, there's something that I read recently. It's from a really interesting guy on LinkedIn that commented on one of my articles on one of my posts, and I'll happily reshare it on my profile. But he said something so sinister and interesting at the same time in an article that he wrote. This is what gave me the biggest fear. Is he basically said for millennia, human beings have developed the ability to sense out when something is real or not in terms of another human to human connection. So baked into our nervous system is the ability to connect with other people and to basically validate immediately if that person is actually a person, and therefore to be able to slowly reduce or increase the guardrails that we have so that we can interact with other people. And so when me and you have a connection, mate, we can connect on a level as friends, or we can connect on a level as enemies, or potentially as having the kind of like predator prey type fear, or being in that situation where I need to protect myself, or I need to fight you, or we can collaborate.
Yeah.
And this is baked into like our nervous system. But what he's saying is our interactions that we're having with AI is basically breaking down them walls now, in the sense that when we work with an AI, which, let's face it, is effectively a tool. It's the same as having a hammer or a power tool or some machinery. We're not interacting with it like it's a tool. We're interacting with it like it's another person. And that means that our nervous system now can't tell the difference between what is a human actor and what is a machine actor. And that's okay at the moment, I guess, because we haven't yet lived through sort of 5-10 years of this experience. We've kind of all been brought up in an environment where the main people or the main interactions we have are with other people. But now we're kind of changing everything, and we're going to be interacting more with machines. We're going to be using agents more. We're going to be using AI more in our day-to-day lives. Think about people that are younger than us. Think about people that are just coming into work, that are in internships, that are in education. Think about kids and toddlers that are in school. They haven't yet built or developed the capability to differentiate still what is a machine and what is a human, in terms of the way that we perceive our interactions with them through our nervous system. And so they are going to have a very, very different upbringing, a very different life 10, 20, 30 years from today. And I think that's what gives me the biggest fear about this whole technology, is that our nervous system has been effectively evolved and developed based on one type of understanding. And now the whole underlying architecture is going to be completely different.
We are right now in this moment where, and you say something very important for kids. They already were iPad generation. They are
Yeah.
they're really small. They need their iPads to work, and Toy Story 5 just did a really good motion picture about it. People interacting on the digital world. I can't imagine an AI smart enough to play around with a 6-year-old, and the 6-year-old thinking about, this is my friend. This is a machine actor that actually is my friend. So that's one level of fear that I still don't know how to fight against it, or at least stop having it. I don't have kids. I'm not planning on having kids, but definitely I have a niece. The team that we are approaching that fear is that I bought a few electronic items and I teach him how technology works. So some basic knowledge about it is going to allow her to interact on a better way with technology, with, of course, some limits because it could be kind of addictive.
But how do you teach a child? How do you teach a child the difference between this is you text messaging a friend and this is you text messaging a large language model in a data center somewhere in China or the west coast of America? How do
Well,
you actually put that in and instill that?
we came from I don't know if you have this type of interaction. When I was basically on my 15s, we used to have this thing called Messenger, which was a Microsoft tool. It was the first
You talk
time
about
that we
MSN Messenger.
MSN Messenger, and that thing we
Yeah,
used
of
it.
course we had it. Yeah.
And we were close to people that there's no way to reach those people, and also on a that's a really hard part of life, going through your adolescence and everything. So you have a way to interact with people that you want to reach in your school, but that was the first time that you were able to reach on those people. I do believe that moving away from the digital experience to the physical experience is going to be a key element for kids to interact. If you tell them like, hey, it's okay for you to talk a lot of hours with your friends on the digital space, but as a parent, let's go to meet for real. So that way you can start making differences on what's digital. Well, I enjoy more my digital conversations with machines. No. Let's go to the physical environment. So that way you can be
Yeah.
real. That's my
Well,
approach on that.
you don't get the instant gratification like you do
Yeah.
when you're talking to a machine. And I think that's something that's not really talked about, because we've just talked about it, right? We basically said, and I've just wrote about this. I love working with AI because I can iterate incredibly quickly and I can get results very fast. And I have to slow down. It's not like eating junk food. You basically get addicted to it, right? And you get the instant gratification, you get the hit, you get the sense of achievement, and you want to do it again. And it's kind of like a self-fulfilling, almost self-gratification kind of policy with working with AI. And every time you achieve something, you want to achieve something better, and it's just constantly coming from that. That doesn't happen when you work with people. Let's go back to human actors for a minute, right? So me and you, we both work in life sciences.
Yeah.
We serve to exist to improve the outcomes for patients and improve and develop trust in the communities we serve, right? That's why we exist. People are not perfect. Therefore, we need biotech, life sciences, pharmaceutical companies, right? When you work with people, people are inherently defective. That's why we exist. But if people are inherently defective, how do you get output from people? How do you actually get iterations where you are successful? How do you develop things with people? How do you become successful? Well, it takes time. It takes energy. You have to build relationships. You have to learn how to coach, how to lead, how to work with other human actors. You have to basically realize and figure out, how do you complement each other's skill sets? How do you manage your own expectations of the expectations you place on others? Not everybody's going to work at your pace. Some people are going to need coaching more. Some people need coaching less. But together with people, eventually you will be successful if you put the right systems and connections and relationships together. But that takes time, money, and investment. So why do you need to spend all them dollars building a team that can send a spaceship to the moon when you could just hire machines to do it? And that way to be honest, you don't even have to deal with the BS that comes from people either.
Yeah. That's there is a big difference here. Now that we're talking about achievement, I just have a full classroom speaking about this. And the main concept on that classroom was value. How we transfer the all the value of doing things on a better, faster, or even cheaper way to our main human behind everything. So in this case, that we work on life science, if we are not able to transfer the value to patients to have a better life, that's going to be the real challenge. Let's think about AI on a different perspective. You can build, you can have a team that can take you to the moon. Yes, that team could have a mix between humans and machines, and then you will get the outcome of giving people to the moon. Well, people really wanted to get to the moon, or they just wanted to get to their next city the fastest ways possible. We need to be really conscious of the value that we're providing before building the technology, because if we don't have that definition clear, it's us using a technology that is fully task oriented, and that task oriented thing is going to give you the best output each time that you do an iteration, but it's not going to give you the value. You are the one putting the value in the table.
You are, but what you've described is a fear that has existed since the start of capitalism.
Yeah.
You've basically described the propeller, you've described the aeroplane, you've described the engine, you've described the goddamn wheel. You basically described everything that we've had to do in order to get to the next iteration of technological advancement. The fear of not being able to do the next best thing, that's really where advancement has come from. The fear now is you can do it so quickly, just so fast with AI.
There's this series that I really like. It's called Clarkson's Farm. It's a really great show to see there in England. Actually, I know have you seen it before? I don't know.
Oh, look, yeah, so Jeremy Clarkson.
Jeremy Clarkson, yeah. Okay, so
Yeah, the top gear guy.
recent,
Yeah.
I love it. The top guy, yeah, the car guy. I love the last episode. The last season, they have a special episode on technology. They are really moving forward with the show. They are showing the agriculture side of things, so how everything is happening. And he put a really good point on the table. The government, the organizations, the enterprise, everything is changing so fast. And we on the agriculture side of things, we're not changing. We have these new rules and this new political environment, world environment, because we are producing food for the table of people. And the real issue is here. We're not changing the way that we produce that food, that grain, that meat that you have in your table. So they go to do a research on Europe about the new ways of doing agriculture, and they go to the Netherlands, and the way that they grow our food is amazing to see. Like, it's the most advanced high tech that you can think. And right now, they don't even talk a little bit about AI. So there is a gap of the most recent technology that you have before AI that you haven't reached, maybe even in your organization. And then you have this new layer called AI that will allow you maybe to put things out there. So they were speaking about, can you think about a truck going at night doing all the harvesting for you, and you are sleeping really comfortable there, and the machine will understand if it needs to stop and it needs to go further. It doesn't have gasoline anymore, so you just put there your cup of gasoline, and the machine will continue to do the work. I was listening to that, and I was thinking, one of the fears that maybe an organization could have is, are we really ready to adopt this technology, but we haven't taken the other 3 steps that we needed to take before this jump?
Well, there's one fear that nobody's talking about. Well, I say nobody's talking about it. I don't feel like it's getting the traction it deserves. And that is the CFO of every organization right now. The person holding the purse strings must be so fearful right now of getting that token bill at the end of the month.
Yes.
That's a fear.
let's take a few minutes to explain that token seed difference. And I know that this is a hot topic in all the organizations because there's a lot of changes. So, please give us an introduction to the token seed thing and why that's the driver, that's the engine that is driving AI everywhere.
Oh God, I wish I could explain it well, mate. The way AI has been sold to organizations so far is like the best analogy I've seen is the one of the all you can eat buffet and the a la carte menu. Is the a la carte, the buffet, it's an all you can eat buffet. So you pay $50 to OpenAI for argument's sake, and you can go and use as much of AI as you want. You can use it yourself. You can generate images, videos, whatever you want. You can kick off agents. You can have background workers. You can have stuff operating under agency. You can have other systems that's using the OpenAI models, but it's $50, right? It comes out of one ticket, and it's the $50 seat. That's it. If you have two people in your company that want to go to the buffet, it's $100, two seats, and that's it. There might be a little bit of variance in there. It's like you could go to the buffet, but if you want to eat the lobster, it's another $10. If you want the better wine, it's another $20. But more or less, everybody could go to the buffet for $50.
Yeah.
What's happened is all of the chefs behind the scenes, I think, or perhaps not, maybe it's just that they try to get us hooked, which we are now, and now they can increase the cost. Is instead of them saying to you, well, you can eat as much as you want at the buffet, they've now basically said, we don't serve the buffet anymore. It's an a la carte menu. And an a la carte menu is you have to pay for everything that you eat. So I might go, Caesar, and I might just have a small starter and maybe a little bit of something sweet and a soft drink, and I'll just pay for that. You might turn up, mate. You might get the ribs, the steak, the wings, the dessert. You might have a Caesar salad, for all I know. But you have to pay for it all. So the more you eat, the more you pay. And tokens are the measurement of which we measure how much we are using from an AI model. So if you put a PDF into an AI model or a chat GPT interface and you say, read this PDF document, that might cost, say, 1,000 tokens. If you then say, give me another PDF back with some text change, that might be 2,000 tokens. So tokens are costed on a per token, per unit basis. And so what's happened is all of the models and all the companies have pretty much all changed at the same time and said, we don't have a buffet anymore. We are only a la carte. And that means that potentially somebody's AI bill has gone from $50 a seat to $1,000 a seat overnight. And everybody is losing their over it. Absolutely.
And this has been a while since this started, but on July 1st, the big vendor of organizations, Microsoft, just changed the rules. Of course, there was some anticipation to it, but we are about to see the impact of it on all the organizations. So we went for, and this is something that my manager said to me the other day. Hi, Lisa. She said, I'm going to say to my grandkids, hey, I was there when AI was free. Because that's the hook. That's the hook, actually. And I can think about some historical content here. The last time that something like this happens, and it was a game changer for our lives in general, with the introduction of the iPhone, the real use case behind it, the business case, was that we went for charging us to have cell phones for minutes to gigabytes or to data consumption. And the main business case was this. And BlackBerry, what used to be the king on that one, it can give us a full experience with that small keyboard, and you can chat with everyone, limitless, but you still have those minutes around. But one day has 24 hours, and that also means that you have a limited amount of minutes that you can sell to people. And when this restriction was removed, and then you went for minutes to gigabytes, which is basically infinite, you were charged with consumption, which is what's happening right now. Again, you went for having a package of minutes to use to unlimited gigabytes, and then they put again URLs, business speaking, this is the amount of gigabytes that I'm going to sell you for this price, because they were able to figure out a way to package everything away again. So maybe that's going to happen with AI. It's going to happen like they're going to test the unlimited thing of tokens. Maybe it's going to work, maybe not. the price is going to be too high. Then it's going to reduce again to packages, and we are back to seats again. So it's like a cycle that is going to. That's my prediction. It's a cycle.
It, it is. And, I wasn't very fair really when I said everybody's suddenly overnight moved to the consumption-based model.
Yeah.
There is still a hybrid model that you can adopt, and there is still a seat-based model that you can adopt. I think everybody needs to be aware of this, though, because ultimately this is going to have an impact on everybody's position in a business. And I don't really want to say that, but I think that's what's going to happen. Ultimately, the CFO holds the purse strings as to how many employees a company can effectively support, because the CFO knows the cost of each employee. If all of a sudden the CFO's got a massive token bill that they have to then fund, well, where does that money come from? And everybody, and I don't want to say this, but everybody's scared that AI is going to take your job. And this is really where the fear has come from. But by moving to this new way of funding AI and this new way of actually costing AI, it might be that it's a very literal change that has to happen overnight, which is I need to, unfortunately, take one staff member out in order to pay another staff member's AI bill. Where it comes down to is something that you touched on earlier, is that second staff member actually going to produce the same output and the same value as what they were producing before, plus the employee that unfortunately has had to leave in order to pay their token bill? And there's another part to this as well, which is, what are your competitors doing? And how do you stay ahead of the competitor? Because if you look at it from that perspective, then it's an investment cost, which is you're investing in AI to make you better. And therefore, it doesn't necessarily have to come from reducing your headcount. But the obvious way to fund it is to basically just say, I'm sorry, Caesar, we're getting rid of you, mate, because the guy next to you, we've got to pay his bill. And that's really the challenge that CFOs and any leadership is going to have right now.
Yeah, it's like we are getting close to the real question of this episode, which is AI going to replace me? The use case base, let me put it this way. You are using AI to build PowerPoint slides to present, because we do a lot of PowerPoint on the reorganization. And you tell to the AI, change the color to blue, change the color to yellow. It will take maybe 8 minutes to process all that. You could do it maybe in 3 seconds. So let's be honest about it. There are some small tasks that the AI is not there yet. Like the technology is not there yet to be fast enough to it should worth the effort to put a system that really is going to create something faster, better, stronger, like the sun, But let's see it on how you translate that to your final, and this is where the business case makes sense. If you are able to share the value with the transactional part of it, the CFO is not going to have any opposition. It's like you are going to be able to prove that the money that you are spending is going to be more on the other side where you are creating value. I don't know if you know about this on e-commerce, especially on Amazon. Reviews from other buyers is one of the top heavy features that allow people to select between one product or the other. You can have a 5-star review on a product that no one has known about it before, and that will give you a lot of transactions on e-commerce. So one of the applications that Amazon did was, well, I have now 2,000 reviews of this product. I don't want my users to suffer to going through. How can I speed up the decision of buying this product instead of going for the full stuff of reading maybe 100 recommendations? What if I summarize everything? That's AI working. It's a good use case. You can prove, you can measure if the impact is good, and you can see if the transactions over a category on an e-commerce is going to grow up. Speaking about the work that we do, life science, I don't remember exactly the number of years that it takes to a pharma company to get a medicine out there. 10 years, 5 years?
Let's say 10 years, yeah. Let's say 10
years. If we can speed up that process, we are definitely giving value to people back. Someone doesn't need to wait not long.
That's right, isn't it, mate? And it's like, Exactly. So let's say you discover a molecule, and let's say for argument's sake, it takes 10 years for you to get through R&D, clinical testing, regulatory approval in order to get that into a market. And then you might have 10 years in order to make money off of that before you can no longer sell it exclusively anymore. Really speaking, your 20-year cycle, you're only getting 10 years of value out of it. But if you can bring that initial 10-year cycle down to 5 years, then suddenly you've got an extra 5 years you can make money out of it. And people are probably listening to this thinking, oh, you robbing bastards, you're just trying to make money off of people. Well, there's an argument that, it could happen, or it could be, said that way. But ultimately, these corporations exist for a reason, and the commercial effectiveness of the corporation allows it to continue innovating in these different medicine areas. So we talk about it all the time, right? Every dollar saved in our company doesn't necessarily get added to the margin or the bottom line, but every dollar saved is a dollar you can then invest into clinical testing, and every dollar saved you can then invest into R&D. So you can actually continue innovating and bringing out new medicines and new therapeutic areas. So what you said earlier is, if you can accelerate a value outcome that then brings the goal closer, so you don't have to waste money or time on certain things, then, ultimately you can then work quickly, get something out the door, generate revenue from it, contribute it back into your pipeline of your business, and actually start doing more innovation work and actually get the patient outcomes for us in life sciences faster. So there is an argument that AI should be leveraged as much as possible in these types of situations. For us at work, there was a recent example where somebody spent $5,000 in Claude tokens within one of the R&D teams that would have saved us $200,000 going out to a contract research organization or something to do the same work. For me, that's a massive win, because that $195,000 that individual has saved can go straight back into clinical testing and R&D.
Yeah.
And that's the sort of wins that I want to hear about and I want to invest in. I don't want somebody coming to me and saying, I need $1,000 worth of tokens because I'm basically changing PowerPoint colors or changing fonts in my PowerPoint. That's not a good use of.
Definitely not a good use. So what does that mean is that if we are not used to create business cases for our day-to-day work, we just go and work. We need to start critical thinking about the work that we do and where we really have a use case for this thing that I'm doing. If that also means that to stop having fear, you need to be aware of the capabilities of any given AI. It would allow you to do things, summarize things faster. Yes. It will allow you to do analytical things faster. Yes. If you have the right input on it. So what I'm trying to say is you need to start thinking about on each piece of the process that you are doing, is there a way to introduce a better tool, not necessarily AI, a better tool which will do that job, which means a machine actor that will help you with is not necessarily AI powered by. So that's an interesting, it's like, hey, don't forget that we used to have this software helping us to do the work. Why do I need AI for everything?
I don't want to go back to how it was though, because this is the other fear that I have, is I'm having too much fun at work right now. Is all of a sudden the work is interesting again and the work is making me enjoy the day job. Let's say you're at director level or senior level where you're a people leader and the outcome and the KPIs that you have as an individual are based on the output of a team. And I think I touched a little bit on this earlier, right?
Yep.
Once you get to a certain level, it's like you're not really doing a job anymore. You're just managing other people and getting effectiveness and output from others, which in itself is enjoyable because you get to work with people, with human actors. You get to coach people, lead people, mentor people. But somebody that comes from, and I actually started my job in marketing like 20 years ago. So somebody that's gone from marketing to software development, I've always enjoyed seeing things progress and seeing output. Yeah. And as a day job, there isn't really a better job than developing or coding. Like, it's such a fun thing to do, is to sit down every day and, the cumulative output of your day has to be to solve a specific technical problem by writing code. And a lot of problems can only be solved by writing code. And a lot of problems you will find a way to solve by writing code, because literally over the last 20 years, that's how we've innovated. the whole stock market is built on the concept of writing code.
Yeah.
So AI is giving us old timers now, because I'm in that age group now, that bracket where I'm on the other side of the career is like on the downhill now. It's no longer on the uphill. But this is making work fun again. And this is actually making things enjoyable. And so I'm fearful of it actually being taken away, if anything. I don't want it to go away. I want AI to stay because it is so much fun now.
Last time that I use AI, I usually do insights on my weekly basis. I always have this dilemma. Should I put all this time and effort on making a configuration for my AI tool to get this insight? Or should I just jump directly to do the task that I was assigned to do and get the insight by myself, which will take me 20% of the whole time that I need to configure that AI tool to do it. And you need to start thinking about medium term and long term, which means if I do this big effort today of learning how to use this tool the right way and configure it the right way, do some research, put it together. The next time, since this is a weekly thing that I need to do, the next time I just go there and save time.
So let me ask you a question, mate, because I think you've touched on something really important. Is what you're basically talking about is prompt configuration and skills, which are things, concepts of AI that now, if you are an AI guy, an AI person, you need to know, right? Just explain this concept, because I think it's really important, because this is literally the future of work.
It's like imagine this way: you have a blank canvas, which is this raw tool that will allow you to expedite things, analyze things faster, or even make any given task that you want to do, research, anything. And you need to put some limits and guardrails on it in order to get the right output. You maybe are looking for summarize a whole set of PowerPoint presentations to find any grammatical errors. A real use case. It's like, should I have written this on a different way? And then you need to do a lot of configurations to get to that point where you might the AI also to check if the writing of it is reflecting your brand voice. So that way you need to put some introduction to the machine so it can know what to search for. So the configuration is basically that. I'm just speaking on plain. Oh, that's another virtue of AI. You can just speak on your natural language. You don't need to necessarily learn code. So you can do that configuration, tell to the machine, this is what I am expecting to have. This is who I am. This is the way that I talk. And that way you do that initial configuration and you will get all those outputs. And you can use the historical knowledge that you have to get that information. So that was maybe really bad explanation about it, because it depends on the tool that you're using is the way that you're going to do the configuration. But that's the basic insight on there is that, yes, the tool needs a baseline to start working. Which led me to
So you basically talk about skills, right? Is the segue into the repurposing of an AI skill. And this is now where a new fear exists is, do I need to keep my skill up to date or not? And do I need to invest my dollars now in keeping the skills up to date? Because if that's the case, then why don't I just do the work myself, right? But instead, you're now maintaining the automation that you've built in order to do the task when you could just get on and do the task.
That's even a human fear. Do I need to go back to school? Are you telling me that I'm this old and I need to go back to school right now because this new wave is coming up to me? Yes. Choose your school wisely, which means try to find people that is really using it. They have an internal playground where they are using for real the tools, because someone having a good read on the literature is going to be the partial view of it. You need to have experience on using it, seeing it from different approaches. The concepts could be really complex after the fact, and that's episode 2. We're going to talk about those concepts a lot, agents and everything. Yeah, and that's basically it. Yes, you need to have that even in your life as like perpetual. For me, it's like learning things is one of the most enjoyable things that I do. But that, according to science, even and is one of the things that you should be doing for your memory when you are older. You are going to have the capability of having this, your body and your mind really sharp. So for that, you need to continuously learn. So this is a new, you can use this new way as a, to put yourself in a new purpose of continue your learning. It's like, let's go with continuous learning, moving forward, find the right mentors, teachers. You can write to us on LinkedIn. He's always going to reply you. So yeah, that's a pro tip that you can follow.
Let me change the conversation a little bit then, because we're talking about fear. Um, what else makes you scared? What else gives you fear? Says
Competition is one of my main topics in my mind right now. If I'm aware on how AI works and I'm using it on my daily basis, let's say it that way, someone else is doing it too. And that's competition on my personal life, on a personal level, on with my coworkers, uh, internal in the organization, or even I can see some competition over there on who is the one taking the lead on creating agents, who's the one taking the lead on being the best user for this AI. Let me give you an analogy of this. Ferrari, the way when Enzo was alive, they used to build their cars not taking the edge on the best innovation out there. They just have one principle: more muscle in the motor, so that way we can have beautiful cars really fast. When Enzo was away, the approach changed to no. We need to start creating innovative products here. We need to do some research. We need to give more value to users. So there's always two approaches in competitions. You can try to go on the edge of everything, and that is going to be really painful because you are going to be resilient. You are going to do a lot of mistakes around it. And the other part of it is you can wait and let's see the use cases that are on there. Let's do some research and let's copy and imitate some of those use cases. And that way you can move maybe on a slower phase, but it's already proven, given test phase. So to close this thought, let me give you a final example. I have a friend, C-level. One of the junior guys came and say to them, "Hey, I figured out a way of doing this process faster. We need to process this set of images, get a conclusion that costs a lot of money that we charge to our client. But I figured out a new way." So what I did without asking to anyone is taking the output of the AI without telling anyone that that was an AI work. I give that to the senior engineer. The senior engineer checked information, it validates, and he even take notes on. I have never think about this approach before on special sections of the report. This is a good report. It's ready to send to the client. And the C-level guy came to me and asked me, I was not figuring out that AI will reach us this soon in life. I know that it will came to us, but right now, with this use case, for me, it means something that I am afraid to even ask to my mind. I have 100 engineers. Do I need to reduce them to 50? Because right now, what this junior guy you show me will reduce the workload by 50%. And I told him, hey, don't think like that. You need to do more research. You can see IKEA changing their customer support team to people giving you support on interior design. What I'm hearing of your story is you have now 50% 50% chance of deliver more value to your clients. So what you need to do is increase your sales representative because you have a chance to sell more. So it's like
yes,
you know,
yes, but you have a chance to sell more. But what if all of a sudden everybody's selling more? Then does that just
no,
reduce the value of everything? It's like the supply and demand thing, right?
it's
Is all of
marketing.
a sudden, if this is it, there's suddenly a supply of value in the workplace, in organizations, in the economy. Who's going to pay for all that? You know what you've kind of segued there into is my biggest fear, which has always been for the last 20 years since I've been working, is not working hard enough. That's always been my fear. And what
Mhm.
AI is doing now is it's literally accelerating us to the event horizon where everything is going to be created, developed. built, engineered by a machine actor. We're currently in this kind of weird phase where we're co-creating with AI.
Yeah.
We're co-authoring, co-building, co-engineering. Everything is a collaboration. But at some point, we're going to get to event horizon where we're no longer co-creating. We're just relying on the AI and the machine actor to create on our behalf or for us, not only under agency, but autonomously. They'll be able to just build it for us without us even thinking we have to build something. And this is a huge fear I have because, it goes back to then what is the essence of work? What is the need to work? There's a guy I used to work with 20 years ago, Zishan. We're friends now. Shout out, Zedda, if you're listening. He said something very, very, something that I remember is everybody has to work hard, but immigrants have to work twice as hard. And we're in this kind of stage where there's always people in society that are underrepresented. And those people have to work harder, even in organizations where they're also underrepresented.
Yep.
But what if overnight we're all underrepresented in an organization? Because humans are now the underrepresented part of the machine, which is the economy, monetary policy, regulation, enterprise. We're no longer the actors within the enterprise actually creating and delivering the value.
Yeah.
Who works hard?
Who worked harder? And that will leave us to our closing statements on this evening. We have talked about a lot of fears that we have. They are economic, competition, who works harder, fears in our families, kids, personal life is affected, professional life is affected. Uh, we just need, for me, it goes like this. You just need to take 5 minutes to stop working, maybe a full day. Just grab a cup of tea or a beer, it depends on your preference. Stop thinking about the thing that you have to do. And after taking that time, just try to see what comes first. If your main worry is that your kids has a lot of access to technology, just think about it deeply. If in your organization you have 10 projects simultaneously and they tell you you need to use AI to solve these things, let's take a moment to plan, to organize your ideas, to see where really delivers value. And it's not bad to take a few days to say, "Hey, just give me a few hours or days to think about it on a deep sense of it, instead of just jump to use the things that are available. All these models, all these AI tools. Stop, relax, chill, and then work. That's a strategy that I used to work. Just count to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then keeps with the next idea. That works for me when I'm having all these technology fears. And of course, have time for everything. If I'm going to dedicate a few hours to do research, that's it. That's my focus. And then I jump to the next thing. Multitasking, from my perspective, is not a good thing to do. Just organize your day around, yes, learn a little bit, do a little bit, execute a little bit, have meetings with amazing teammates like us to just keep bouncing ideas around. That's kind of my formula right now.
I couldn't have said it better myself, mate. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. Yeah, of course, man. There's a lot to fear here. But I think what you should be fearful of, and this is a nice segue into the next episode, is be fearful of your own expectation.
Nice.
Because if you expect too much on this and it doesn't meet your expectation, it might exceed them, or it might actually make you disappointed. Ultimately it's the same with people, right? If you expect too much of the people around you, ultimately you are going to be disappointed. It's the same with AI, it's the same with machines, it's the same with technology. So be fearful of your own expectations, the expectations that you place on the technology, but the expectations that you have on what the technology will deliver for you and potentially may or may not do for your personal life, your finances, society as a whole, for religion, for the whole community. Kind of what you said earlier, one step further from that is AI is here, machines are here, technology is here. Ultimately, the reason we've called this podcast Machine Actor is because actor within an software architecture context are the personas, persons, and people within a system, and a system being a software system. But this could also apply to machines being an organization, community, society, etc., etc. Now, how do you work with people? Well, you keep showing up, you keep learning, and you keep trying to make things better for other people. That's the way that we move society forward, and we move forward together. You be a friend to everybody around you, and you will not be disappointed.
Yeah, totally. A really good starting point. Let's start making more friends at work. Let's start interacting more with humans.
Well,
We'll figure it out.
what's the name of episode 2, Says?
Well, why are you waiting for us on the next episode? So we are going to talk about friends. Actually, we're going to dedicate a lot of time to speaking about how to be friends with AI, how do we work together, and also what is the strategy that we are following to have a good relationship with machines, basically. So that's going for episode 2. I hope that you have enjoyed this conversation. Any closing notes? Ask, what are you doing right now in your personal life? Are you seeing the World Cup?
I don't want to say this, but I've not been following it for the first time in literally since I was a little kid. But I know that England are through now to the knockout stages, and it's going to start getting better. So maybe now I'll start becoming a fan and start watching it.
I bring up that topic because the next game with Mexico is against England. So maybe the next episode is going to be about how to be friends with machine actors, but maybe us and I are going to have a personal issue. Let's see who wins the next game.
This might inform the next episode, actually. But yeah, I am interested in also getting into the details and learning more about you, my friend, because growing up in the streets of Mexico City versus growing up, in a small mining town in the north of England, there's two completely different upbringings, and how our approach to society, learning, technology is, I imagine, going to be very different based on our upbringing.
Yeah, let's bring our stories back on the next episode, so that way we can talk about how we get here. That's also a good part of life. The students always ask for that. People is always looking for more information on that. What do you do? Do you know? Do you have all the privilege? You don't have any privileges? So
I know, man.
Yes, let's figure out that one in the next episode. Thank you, guys.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I will sign off with, because I've just come back from Santander. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Welcome, Jester Machine Actor, Manchester to Mexico. Circuitry in the soul. Initialize the vision. With a far to time, on around to Mexico. Circuitry in the soul. Initialize the vision. Welcome, Jester Machine Actor, Manchester to Mexico. Circuitry in the soul. Initialize the vision.